fire, of the Maui wildfire. Of course, it took like long time for police to so mostly they rely on like Maui Police Department to respond to address the cause. Of course, they couldn't find like any like they couldn't like find like because it happened so quickly, so they couldn't find any like crucial role to address the fire situation. And here's just a summary of it. And on the next slide, here's a challenge they faced. Number one, the communication challenge. For example, it's really hard for them to communicate because it happened so suddenly. And yeah, and the second thing is the speed of this fire is very quick. It's it's very quickly, and it's difficult to assess or evaluate the situation. And here's some on my left side, and here's the damages of the oh here's some damage that caused by this catastrophic wildfire. And number three, the third challenge will be limited resource because they don't have enough of firefighting equipment or short on first responder, and mostly just lack of response effort. And the fourth challenge is obviously it's the safety concern and potential environmental damages, toxic air. Number one, it's hard on the lung, and number two, um, safety risks for like the native Hawaiian people and Pacific Islanders, and also the other challenges they face will be like the impact economically and safety wise in this disaster situation. And next slide. Here's the response that they took to address the situation on the wildfire. On the local side, Maui County Fire Department has tried their best and has like effortless has put out their best effort to contain the situation, obviously, and they did put some safety measure to prevent. They did implement some safety measure to prevent for the situation that it had. And the Maui Emergency Management also requests residents to stay alert. On the state side, the state of Hawaii have declared the state of emergency. Um, and, and here's the state response bill where they declare the state emergency, and the governor of Hawaii, Judge Green, tried effortlessly to address the situation. On the federal side, President Biden signed in this situation where President Biden signed a declaration of emergency in the state of Hawaii in in the wake of the disaster, and the federal government has gone over their efforts to support the situation. Next, here's some improvement they can make in this situation. Number one would be like better response time in an emergency. On the emergency responders, sometimes it take them a long time to respond because it happens so quickly. And the second thing I could think of having a um, blueprint of emergency response plan to assess the situation. Obviously, food, water, and shelter is very important to deal with any emergency situation. And even better is just having community awareness. Like, for example, like the earthquake drill or like any type of drill or training or community training about like community-wide training among the residents and the first responders. And yes, having emergency surplus is important to prepare in any natural disaster, and also having federal oversight if it needed assistance. And here's the lesson that we're learning in this situation. Number one, it's important to be prepared for everything and anything. And the second lesson is effectiveness in communication, because better if you can not have a good communication, how are you going to assess the situation in a disaster wise, or in a disaster like this? It could be very, very difficult to deal with the community wise. Obviously, having a better communication engagement with the community. Also, having a reimbursement plan, that's another important thing. We could also have like a reimbursement plan for the disaster relief and recovery. Having Also, it's important to work in a co-op type of setting. For example, like having FEMA and the state or the county agency on standby. And here's my analysis of wildfire. Um, Obviously, you can see the wildfire impact on the economy and environmental, and sometimes the extreme weather condition can cause like irregular human activity. And yeah, here's my analysis. The Maui fire, obviously it can cause like a amount of a community concern among kind of like concern among the community members, in part of like also like education is very important. For example, giving like community level of preparedness to be deal with this situation in the future. Yeah, and in conclusion, like in the wake of this, like, and here's the conclusion I came up with. It's important to have people to be better preparing in disaster. You don't know what's gonna happen, so yeah, it's better to have better preparedness plan. And also like corresponding like collaboration between local, state, and federal agencies will also help deal with like sudden emergency crisis. Also, like community resilience is important, because we need to be like it's it's the best to have community members and residents to unite together to deal with like the situations in case like something like catastrophic like the Maui wildfire happening in the like the wildfire situation that is happening in Hawaii. So it's very important to have coordination and help and community member to help each other out in case a situation like this ever happen in the future. So yeah, and here's the references, and that's about it. Thank thank you guys for your time, and hopefully you find this slideshow helpful. And also, it's very important to like be aware of the situation and having an education. Um, Preparedness is the key, guys. Thank you all.